Those who wear the mask of morality are fundamentally acting in their own interests to manipulate you. There may be some concern for you in there, but their top priority is their own benefit. If you fully believe that it's for your own good, you'll end up paying the price with your entire life. What I'm saying isn't easy to accept, so please keep reading until the end to fully grasp it. Greetings to all of you. In today's video, we'll decode 3 classic yet extremely valuable techniques of human manipulation that not everyone knows about. Watch it repeatedly to make it your own. 1. The moral manipulation technique. Many people like to use the excuse, "I'm doing this for your own good," to carry out moral manipulation to achieve their personal goals. This method is often hard to detect. On the contrary, you might feel that the other person genuinely has your best interests at heart, and even start thinking there's something wrong with you, when in reality, you've fallen into their manipulation trap. When I was 19, I had a girlfriend. After a while, I felt we weren't compatible and wanted to break up. The result? My father strongly opposed it and wanted me to get engaged to her. He said to me, "That girl is so good to you, and you're still not satisfied. She's devoted to you, and you don't want her. Later on, you'll regret it. I've been through it all, and I'm saying this for your own good. Think about it yourself." After hearing that, I was completely confused and started blaming myself. Was I really too heartless? Was I not appreciating her enough? Maybe that was the case. Luckily, my dad scolded me into realization, or I would have missed out on such a great opportunity. After that, I told my dad I agreed to the engagement. Very quickly, we held an engagement ceremony in the village, and even the wedding date was set. But the more I thought about it, the more it didn't feel right. Our personalities clearly didn't match. How could breaking up be wrong? Was my dad really acting in my best interest? Later, I found out that my dad thought her family demanded a lower dowry, which would save him some money. Plus, if his son got married early, it would boost his and my mom's reputation. It was all for his own benefit, nearly ruining my lifelong happiness. In the end, I calmly insisted on breaking up with her. When my dad found out, he tried a series of moral guilt trips again. But this time, I saw through his tactics and firmly ended it. Seeing no other way, he finally revealed the truth. Her family asked for such a low dowry, and you still broke up with her. Where are you going to find someone like that again? Next time, if you meet someone who demands a high dowry, you're on your own. We don't have that kind of money. The truth was out. I smiled and said, "Don't worry, Dad. I plan to stay single forever, so you won't have to spend a dime." Many parents and relatives are quite skilled at using moral manipulation techniques, like, "You need to get married soon. Don't be too picky. It'll be hard to find someone later. We're doing this for your own good." The real meaning is, "If you don't get married, we'll lose face." Or, "Don't start a business. There are too many risks. Investing so much money. What if you lose it all? Staying at your company job is better. Don't mess around. I'm saying this for your own good." The real intent: don't start a business, or if you fail, you'll come asking me for money. Those who wear the mask of morality are fundamentally acting in their own interest to control you. There's some concern for you, but their priority is their own benefit. If you fully believe it's for your sake, you'll end up paying with your whole life. 2. The labeling manipulation technique. People cannot be persuaded, they can only persuade themselves. If you find the manipulation trigger behind someone, you can control them. Whatever behavior you want from someone, just label them accordingly, and they'll gradually become the person that fits that label. In a church, after everyone finished praying and left, a little girl remained. The priest asked, "Where are your parents?" The girl burst into tears and said her parents had died in a car accident. The priest paused, then said, "It seems you are a child of God." Later, that girl became a famous writer and wrote in her book that the priest's words changed her life. That's the power of labeling. For example, if you want your wife to cook delicious meals every day, just call her a chef every day. Whatever she cooks, whether it's good or not, praise her enthusiastically, take photos, record videos, send them to friends and family, and say, "My wife is a chef." The more you praise her, the prouder she'll feel, and you just wait to enjoy the delicious food. Managers need to know how to label employees, creating role models in a company, like kindness star, achievement star, customer satisfaction star, and so on. Then hang their pictures on the wall. You'll see those featured will work with heightened enthusiasm. The stingier someone is, the more you call them generous. The less a child likes studying, the more you say they love learning, and say it in front of them, spreading it to friends and relatives. Every person in this world is an actor. The more applause they get, the more passionately they perform. Without applause, they lose the will to act. 3. The emotional manipulation technique. Over the years, I had two close friends. One of them we called Big Brother. Later, Big Brother borrowed money from the other friend and didn't repay it for 2 or 3 years. When I found out, I asked the friend why he didn't demand the money back from Big Brother. He said, "If I ask Big Brother for the money, I'll look petty. He always tells me he sees me as his little brother." This is a classic example of emotional manipulation. Since then, I've never entered another brotherhood relationship with anyone. People who do things like that, you need to be cautious. Once emotions are brought up, money basically can't be discussed anymore. Liu Bang, Liu Bei, and Song Jiang were all masters of emotional manipulation. How do you use the emotional manipulation technique? It's simple, just 2 points, but very hard to execute. 1. Genuinely talk about emotions with the other person, but don't use real emotions. Read that sentence 3 times. The one who doesn't use real emotions is the manipulator. The one who does is the one being manipulated. 2. Only talk about emotions with people who can benefit you. Once the benefits stop, the emotions end immediately. If you can't do these 2 things, don't play the emotional manipulation game, or you'll become the one manipulated. If you've watched this far, consider it a gift from me. Few people know these things. This is the first time I'm revealing the 3 schools of Confucianism, Legalism, and Taoism. I believe everyone knows there were more outstanding ancient philosophers than modern ones. That's a peculiar thing. Look, if we talk about the abundance and nutrition of food, ancient times can't compare to modern times. If we talk about a complete knowledge system, ancient times can't compare. If we talk about brain evolution, ancient times can't compare. If we talk about population, ancient times had tens of millions, while modern times have billions. Ancient times can't compare. In every condition and factor, modern times completely outshine ancient times. So why do ancient times have more outstanding figures than modern times? Like Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, Laozi, Confucius, Han Fizi, Mencius, Gaguzzi, countless exceptional figures. Meanwhile, in modern times, the number of great minds keeps dwindling. The whole world even suggests learning from the ancients. To explain why modern times don't have as many outstanding figures as ancient times, let's look at ancient Asia for familiarity. The first step is to find the clue. Which era produced the most exceptional people historically? I think everyone can guess. Yes, it's the spring and autumn and warring states period. Why did so many outstanding figures emerge during that time? The answer is war. Back then, hundreds of large and small states fought daily. Each state researched how to destroy the others. Then, they recorded these methods in writing. Didn't that become outstanding philosophies? So why did ancient times have so many thinkers? Because of war. Why don't modern times have as many? Because we live in a relatively peaceful era. In wartime, to win, we need brilliant thinkers. In peacetime, to develop, we need more high-tech talents. Next, we'll talk about the spring and autumn and warring states period, an era of intellectual explosion. How do we apply these schools of thought to our businesses? I know not many can clearly explain Confucianism, Legalism, and Taoism, schools that ruled feudal systems for thousands of years. I'll use the simplest way to explain, ensuring everyone understands. You might feel there are so many schools of thought, not knowing where to start. Actually, it's simple. These schools divide into three main types. Understand these three, and you'll understand everything else. Back then, the schools of thought had three main doctrines, each with a different attitude toward tradition. The first type supported tradition, believing it was so great it couldn't be described. The second type rejected tradition, believing it was truly awful. The third type was indifferent, asking, "What's tradition? Can you eat it? Is it good or bad? Does it matter to me?" These three attitudes correspond to Confucianism, Legalism, and Taoism. Other schools can be seen as variations of these three, because attitudes toward tradition only have these three possibilities. We can rephrase these three attitudes more clearly. The first, supporting tradition, is called restorationism. They believe humans mess things up because they've strayed from tradition. The solution today is to return to it quickly. That's Confucianism. The second, rejecting tradition, is called innovationism. Innovationism isn't about happiness, but creating a new future. They believe humans mess things up because they haven't abandoned annoying traditions. The solution now is to create new rules. That's legalism. Both these attitudes are proactive and progressive, just with completely opposite solutions. Because Confucianism and legalism emerged from the Central Plains, a densely populated, complex region. Without an engaged mindset, you couldn't solve problems. But in the vast, sparsely populated, mountainous Jingzhou region, a different attitude emerged: detachment. The first is restorationism, the second is innovationism, and the third is detachment, not logging out, but transcending the mundane. This is Taoism. They believe things get messed up because people overthink engaging with the world. If you stop chasing worldly achievements, you will instantly feel how vast the world is. Whether tradition is good or useful, Taoism says it doesn't matter. In fact, not just in ancient times, you see these three attitudes today too when facing problems. Next, we'll explain these three schools in more detail.